Hello, everyone. Today was a good day. So let's start with the diet update. I hopped on the scale this morning. Still 175, same as yesterday. Nice that it didn't go up, but man, I'd love to see it dip. Then again, losing slow is probably better, so maybe this is just me chipping away at it steadily. Breakfast was scrambled eggs with cheese, two crispy bacons, two sausages, and a drizzle of zero sugar ketchup over the eggs and cheese. Plus, six cherry tomatoes straight from our garden. It was the bee's knees. After that, I decided to bake some keto cupcakes. Betty Crocker they were, keto edition, with almond and coconut flour to keep those carbs low. I air fried them instead of using the oven because it's quicker. Verdict? Pretty good, actually. I'd eat them again. Although, they did give me the runs later, so yeah, one a day. I had to. Anything more, we're in trouble. Lunch was courtesy of a family friend, fresh back from the store. Carnita tacos with zero carb tortillas, queso fresco, and a big scoop of homemade salsa. Delicious. I also had a coffee ice cream keto bar for dessert, plus a cup of coffee in the morning and an A&W in the evening and at night. Exercise? Not really. Just walking around at work. That counts. I should probably start doing some morning stretches. Maybe pull ups or push ups. Something to burn the fat faster. Anyways, that's the diet update. Now that we're done with that, let's move on to the day. It started at 7 a.m. when my mom woke me up because my car was blocking hers. I didn't even bother putting on shoes, just walked out barefoot, moved the car so she could head to work, then parked it again, and I went straight back to bed. 3.5 hours later, I woke up at around 10:30 and decided it was definitely shower time. It had been 2 days since my last one, and I wasn't to go for a third. 20 minutes later, I was clean, refreshed, and ready to bake. Oh, yeah. The plan was keto cake, specifically Betty Crocker's yellow keto cake mix. I made cupcakes instead, baking them in the toaster oven at 350 degrees for 22 minutes. But instead of relying strictly on the timer, I used my new pro tip. Tap the top to make sure it bounces back instead of smudging or gooping. While I was baking, my sister offered to make breakfast, and of course I said yes. She whipped up scrambled eggs with melted cheese, topped with zero sugar ketchup, plus crispy sausage, crispy bacon, and 6 cherry tomatoes. Easily one of the best low carb breakfasts I've ever had. But the time that breakfast was ready, the cupcakes were done. We tried them, and my sister said they reminded her of a Meadowline cookie. I couldn't confirm. It's been years since I've had one, but I thought they were pretty good. We ate breakfast while watching a new Y-Files episode about Dwight D. Eisenhower supposedly making a secret pact with gray aliens to take over the world. Pretty messed up, I know. After that, my sister and I got into a conversation about what makes a convincing whistleblower. We agree that a real whistleblower is someone who comes out with sensitive government information and then immediately disappears on the other hand. The other person who's giving clearance to share only what they're allowed to say, basically to steer public opinion, that feels more like a psyop. A way to trick the masses. That led us into a discussion about endless, limitless, clean, free energy. I brought up this guy. I think he's Canadian. He's working on 0 point energy and wants to make it democratized and open source. He's documenting the whole process step by step on his YouTube channel, and it's honestly fascinating. I showed my sister, and she thought it was compelling too. She even mentioned how another researcher, David Badrick, should team up with him. We both agreed. That would be one dynamic duo. After that, it was time to get ready for work. So I got dressed and headed out. When I got to work, I started with my first half hour out in lot. And wow, it was brutal. Felt like at least 95 degrees, maybe hotter. No idea how I survived, but I did. They're actually giving lot shifts to GM clerks now at my store, which got me talking to the GM clerk who came out after me. He said it's probably a cost-cutting measure. Instead of hiring new courtesy clerks, they're just bringing on more GMs and giving them double duty. Some courtesy clerks are getting promoted to GM, while others stay in their positions until management decides they're ready to move up. Like me. I was curious if that put my own job in jeopardy, so I asked one of the higher-ups. They said, "No, I'm fine." Big relief. That was probably the most interesting thing in the early part of my shift. The rest of the first 4 hours, after my half hour in the lot, I spent 2.5 hours bagging, doing go-backs, and running orders out to the customers in that heat. Then, my last half hour before lunch was back in the lot again. This time while carrying the delivery phone, so I was juggling both jobs at once. Pretty involved, but I managed. Then I punched out, and I headed home for lunch. And here's where the kerfluffle happened. The power had gone out, which meant no fridge, no microwave, no nothing. I couldn't even get to the food in the house without risking it going bad. Lunch was looking grim. And then in walked our family friend, like a hero in a cooking apron, carrying carnitas, queso fresco, and homemade salsa. Suddenly, my powerless kitchen turned into a full-on Mexican fiesta, and I loved every second of it. For the tortillas, I used a Mission Zero carb tortilla so it wouldn't blow up my carb count for the day. It was a hearty, delicious meal, washed down with an A&W Zero. Dessert was a handful of olives and a coffee keto ice cream bar. Surprisingly good. After that, it was time to head back for my last 4 hours at work. I said goodbye to my sister, my mom, and her family friend, then hit the road. And all I'm gonna say, those last 4 hours were crazy. I had closing today, which meant from 7 to 11, it was a non-stop roller coaster of juggling responsibilities. Taking out the trash, bringing in carts, punching in for sweeps, wiping the check stands, no shortage of things to do, but barely enough time to do it all. Somehow I managed. And thank goodness, because trying to get through the closing list while still helping customers is definitely an endurance run. After the last chore was done, I punched out. My boss looked at me and said, "You are free." I said, "Thanks," and headed out. When I got home, my mom hit me with the most horrifying news. Our newest member of the family, the cat, named Call Me, had destroyed her Ark of the Covenant souvenir from a family trip to the Grand Canyon. Total bananas. He's still part kitten, but wow, that kitten is living up to his name. Well, not really. After that little drama, I sat down to work on my YouTube script with the help of ChatGPT 5. I recapped the day, read part of it back to my sister to see if the chatbot captured my voice, and once we confirmed it did, I finished the rest of the story. Now I'm off to take my vitamins, brush my teeth, and try to lucid dream tonight. Take care, everyone, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your whatever time you're watching this. Goodbye.